Hello and welcome to this track day vlog. And as the title suggests, I'm going to be doing a track day at Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So join me as I go through the prep of the bike, the actual day itself, and yeah, just generally having a good time. I'll be taking this Kawasaki ZX-10R. It'll only be my second track day. I did one previously on my Fireblade, which didn't really go too well because I had some issues with the bike. I will be going in the novice category on this ZX-10, as I kind of wrote off the one I did on the Blade just because of the issues I had. So we're kind of doing a redo, fresh slate, all that kind of stuff. So it's the night before the track day, and I'm just going to be doing a little bit of prep to the bike, which includes oil and oil filter change. I need to change the brake pads, need to take a few things off, and I need to get all my kit sorted. So let's start with the bike, oil and oil filter change first, then I'll be doing the pads, and then I'm going to be working around the bike, just taking bits off and making sure everything's up to scratch, like the chain tension, the PSI of the tires, the coolant level, all that kind of stuff. Then I'll be loading the bikes into the van, and tomorrow I will be heading to the track. So let's get to it.
So first things first, gonna get the oil and oil filter change. So warming the bike up here, putting the bike on paddocks as well. Here's all the service items. So you've got the brake pads, the oil and the oil filter. Luckily, maintenance on the ZX-10 is pretty easy. You can access the filter and the drain plug without having to take any fairing off. I've enlisted the help of my old man just so I can film things for you guys. So here's the oil coming out, very black, and it was in need of a change anyway, so this is perfect. Comes out nice and easy as we've warmed the bike up, so just gonna let that all drain out now. So you wouldn't have to take the fairing off if people didn't do the oil filter up so tight. Unfortunately, had to take the fairing off and basically destroy the filter to get it off. But nonetheless, it's off, so time to get the new one on. So here's the drain bolt with the new cross washer torqued properly and the oil filter torqued to spec as well. I've also marked up the filter and plug with a white Tipex just to make sure they do not shift while I'm on the track. Time for the new oil to go in. It's a 4-litre bottle, the bike takes 3.3, so gonna take 700 mils out and whack the rest in the bike, just so you don't have to constantly be looking at how much is left in the bottle. You can just whack it all in knowing you're putting in the correct amount. Time to do the brake pads now. I'm not gonna bother with the rear as they have loads of life in and I barely ever use it anyway. These were the front pads, not a lot left, so worth changing. Unfortunately, there was some uneven wear on the right-hand side. Going to investigate that and clean the brakes thoroughly and also bleed them. There we go, nice new pads going in. So I did do a little bit of bedding in with these pads that evening just to make sure they are ready to go for the track. So calipers back on and torque down as well. Next up, I put my lever guard on. It's just a cheap plastic Oxford one, but it does the trick and is a requirement to get on the track. Already taken the mirrors off as well. And then also I'm gonna take off my rear number plate and the tail tidy. So the bike's done. I took it for a little spin as well, bedding in the pads and checking the oil level again once I got it back in. Everything was good, so they were loaded into the van. That's my dad's GSX-R 750, which is full track spec. And yeah, strapped them in, locked the van up, and they were good to go for the next morning. So just going to prep my gear here. I've got my Risha Barracuda suit. I've got an Alpine Stars Nucleon back protector, Risha Blade boots, Risha Blade gauntlet gloves, and yeah, that's kind of it really. Not the fanciest of gear, but it does the trick. You are required to have a full one-piece leather suit or a two-piece that zips all the way around. So with everything else prepped and ready in the van, it is time to get some sleep and be up bright and early the next day. So 5:30 start, nice and early, sun's already out. It's about an hour and 10 minutes to the track. No traffic on the way, so we are good. And here we are at Brands, pulling in now. Conditions were perfect in the morning, no clouds, nice and sunny, dry track. What more could you ask for? Lots of garages free as well. It was pretty quiet on the day here. We went for garage number 14. I refused to go in number 13 for obvious reasons. And time to start unloading the bikes, get them off with the ramp, and then make a nice little setup in the garage. You know, both bikes in there, little table, couple chairs, the cooler, that kind of stuff. And the bikes are looking good. The track is looking fantastic. Little bit of prep work to do while we wait for the noise test and the briefing. And in typical me fashion, I had to put a baffle in as the bike was too loud. Even with our own reader, it still read under the track limit of 101. Just had to firm it and put the baffle in, which brought it down to 97. Had some cool guys join us in the garage. There was an F4i and a Fireblade going on the track, and they were both in my group, so it was great to chat to them as well. And in typical me fashion, again, I had an issue with the bike. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it didn't like the baffle going in, but it got stuck in a limp mode basically, where the power modes would flash, and it essentially meant that I was stuck in medium power. Very typical considering I had issues with the blade last time I went here. so I didn't record for the first 3 sessions. Some people online said it would clear itself after 3 full cycles. So I kind of had to tiptoe it round in medium power mode and pray that it would clear itself after those 3 cycles. But the bike did feel fine, you know, I was putting in some good laps. I think my 3rd session was actually my best session. I was very happy with the tyre wear. I could have probably added in a couple PSI, but you know, it's nice to see it shredding up on the side. And then by some miracle, the people in the forums were right and it cleared itself after the 3rd session. So I was back to full power, no engine lights, no nothing on the dash. So I whacked the GoPros on to record my last 4 sessions and got them nicely wire locked on in case they came off. So yeah, how was the track? How was I doing? Well, I was having a fantastic time, you know, really settling into the track. I'm pretty familiar with it now, having done 2 sessions here and obviously having watched back my laps countless times. I had 3 angles on the GoPro. I had a forward facing one facing me, and then one facing out the rear. I don't think I really broke a minute on the lap times. I'll probably have to compile them and just get an average and see what my best is, that kind of stuff. But yeah, basically having a fantastic time just getting used to the bike on the track, you know, getting body positioning right, doing safe overtakes, that kind of stuff. Here is one of my better laps. You know, it was quite a quiet group. I think there was 15 people in our group for novices at the start of the day, and this dropped down to about 8 by, you know, the 6th and 7th session. So a lot of the time it felt like I had the track to myself, which was really great, and you know, just kind of allowed me to learn at my own pace. You know, not getting too competitive, as it is not a race, it is a track day, it is you against you only. If you are racing other people, you are probably gonna have an accident, or you know, it's not gonna end well. But yeah, the bike was performing well, sounds fantastic on this track, and you know, I was just all round having a great time. Probably the 5th time I've said that, but you know, it's just how it is. So by the 5th and 6th section, I was very, very comfortable, and you know, now this is the point where I am focusing more on overtakes, just so I am not stuck behind people. And I was getting better and better at passing people safely. You can see here, I'm trying to allow as much space as possible to get by people, and I think I did a pretty good job. You know, didn't stand anyone up in the corners, which is not what you want to do. You know, just slipping it past people, getting on my way, whilst also trying to focus on correct body position, which is something I struggle with, as I do feel quite stiff in this monkey suit. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for everyone. I did have one guy who would stand me up in corners consistently. I think it was a total of 4 times, which was very annoying. But luckily I'm on a 1000, so I can just blitz past him on the straight and get away from people like that, as that is something you want to avoid on track days. So this day was about 32 degrees. It was very, very hot and I was absolutely melting. I think I did about 7 liters of water throughout the day. A couple Monsters and a couple Lucozades, so I was making sure I was fully hydrated at all times, just to make sure that I was 100% when I was on the track. You know, didn't want to faint or pass out or, you know, get too fatigued. And luckily I was able to stay pretty cool throughout the day. I had a Alpine Stars one-piece undersuit, which had, you know, like a cooling effect where it wicked away the sweat, and it was fantastic to help get on and off the suit. Because if I didn't have it, I think I would just be so sweaty and I wouldn't be able to get the suit on and off easily. So yeah, really great, and it made me a whole lot more comfortable as well. And staying in the garages allowed me to stay cool, stay out of the sun. There was a nice breeze coming through as well. So yeah, pretty good. So after 7 15-minute sessions, that concluded my day at Brands Hatch. I had a very satisfying day, aside from the bike having issues in the morning, but being in medium power mode isn't the end of the world. Still plenty of power, and it probably actually helped me ease into the track a lot more. No chicken strips on the tyre, so that is satisfying as well. And had a great time just chatting to people throughout the day, watching other people in the hire groups ripping it about as well. And obviously set some personal bests on lap times for myself. So whilst we're packing everything up, I took a few sneaky pictures and videos of the ZX-10 in the pit lane area, just while nobody was on the track or in the pit lane and the evening people were having their briefing. So I snuck in a little photo shoot there. So yeah, very tired, everything loaded into the van and strapped down, and then it was time to get home. Still very hot at this point, so luckily cranked the AC up in the van, took some headache tablets as well, and yeah, got on the road. But yeah, fantastic day out at Brands Hatch. I had an amazing time, and I will definitely be going back there to do the GP circuit. I'm hoping to do some other tracks as well this year, so stick around for that. And my main goal next time I come to Brands Indy, I would like to be in the intermediate session, so that would mean I will be a lot faster and a lot more confident, hopefully. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, as well as I will be posting some slightly more short form content of this track day. So it would be great if you could watch that as well. Make sure to like and subscribe, as it really shows me what is working for the channel and what people are enjoying seeing. So see you next time.